Game started.
King Sethos. Okay, well, let's try d4, see if we get a Queen's Gambit position. Maybe not. Okay, what is this? Oh, this is a kind of Queen's Gambit. That's the martial defense to the Queen's Gambit. I'm going to get around to that in Chess Basics in a couple of episodes. So I'll know better in a few weeks how to play this. But this is the way I always played it, with e4 kicking the knight. Dan Heisman says about this opening that it's not, he calls it a common opening inaccuracy. Not that it's losing, but it's not the best way to play, because white gains a tempo on the knight, I suppose. And he has a nice center here. But it's like the Grunfeld in a way. The center can come under attack. So just having the center doesn't mean you're free of trouble and worry. And in fact, since the knight can be traded off at any time, this pawn, the d pawn, is actually a bit weak. It has no c pawn to support it. And the e pawn is already passed it by, so that's not available to support it either. And that's why I moved my bishop out to e3 to lend it, because this knight could be traded off at any time, and the move knight to c6 from white is very natural, just piling up on that pawn. See, there he goes, trading it off. So now if I hadn't had the bishop here, this would only be defended by the queen, and if his knight were here, he could have considered taking the d pawn. But I had prepared for that. So I'm thinking of pushing on with d5. d5, pawn takes, and then it's supported by knight, bishop, and queen, and just attacked by the knight and the queen. So I get a really advanced pawn here, but it is isolated. But such an advanced pawn, it seems like it might have some cramping effect on black's position. With the exchange, it won't be an isolated pawn. Actually, they'll be able to push the c pawn. Well, maybe not right away. My plan is to push the c pawn forward and support the d pawn so that it's not isolated. Maybe I should go ahead and let's see. Is it under attack? Yeah, it's got 3 attackers. So let's go ahead and take this guy off and then play c4, because otherwise I was losing the pawn. So this is an interesting position. Bishop against knight. Queens and rooks still on. I have an isolated rook pawn. I have an advanced pawn in the center. And the bishop is supporting these pawns, but it's not maybe not the greatest piece. I could consider playing d6 right away, giving up that pawn in exchange for the b pawn, and leaving him with 2 isolated pawns and me with 2 isolated pawns. That would be interesting. And the open lines for the bishop, it might actually be better for the bishop. I didn't take. So if I take here, that'll leave black with a pair of isolated pawns. And I can play my bishop to d4, d5. It's not good. Bishop d5, queen f3, kind of ganging up on the f pawn here. Definitely want to unpin his knight. His knight can jump into these squares. That's true. Knight to d4 or knight to e5 is maybe an idea here. And let's see. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Seems like that pawn is well supported by the queen. So I could double on the d file and then threaten bishop takes check. I guess that's not really a threat, is it? Because the rook is defended by both the knight and the other rook. Okay, so his knight from there can jump into f3 or g4. with check, although I can take it, so it's not a threat to win the queen if I play like f4 here. Could go here or here. I think queen f4 is where I want to go. Just staying on the staying on this file. So let's get my rook on the e file. So now I'm threatening to take the knight and then grab on f7. I think that's a threat. Rook takes, queen takes f7, king to the corner, queen here, check, is mate. Yeah, that is a threat. Right, queen f6 after chasing the king to the corner. And I'll have a rook here, queen here, nothing to guard the f6 square. So we'll see how he reacts. His pawn is pinned. He should probably just move a rook to defend it, or bring the queen back to defend it. Oh, the knight's hanging too, though, isn't it? Just rook takes, queen takes, wins a piece. Okay, so there's a couple threats to worry about. What should black do? So rook to e7 will not work because I just take the knight. I think, yeah, just queen back to c7 is the only move here, right? Or maybe queen to c6. Queen to d6 would also work because it looks at the f6 square, so I wouldn't have a mate at the end. I could still consider the exchange sack. But and if he moves the knight, then I'm taking on f7 right away. So you can't really move the knight. The pawn is pinned, so he can't move that. He moved the king. So does the tactic still work? Rook takes, queen takes. Yeah, it wins a piece at least. And after rook takes, I have a happy choice between attacking with queen f7 here, or winning a piece with the rook there. Okay, so he defended against the f7 threat, leaving me a piece up. So now, let's see. Queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes, rook takes, queen. No, because it was not with check, so that's not an actual variation. In fact, the bishop is kind of pinned there, so maybe I should unpin the bishop and threaten rook to play rook to e7 to threaten f7 once again. So now I've got 3 attackers on f7. He has just the king, mere king and rook defending it, and he can't bring another defender to bear. So I think he's going down.
Check. Check.
Okay, so he went that way, which is prevents mate. If he'd gone the other way, I could mate with queen f6. So now what? Bishop is hanging. There's a check here. And if I could just get my rook in the game, I would be winning. But maybe the simplest thing is to just put the bishop on a safe square. Okay, so he is going for counterplay with the let's check here.
Check.
Get on this diagonal. And now rook here check does not work because it's protected by the queen. I do have to avoid letting this pawn get too dangerous. So how about rook c1? And then bishop e4 if the pawn advances any further. In terms of checks, this square, this square, or this square are all guarded by his queen. And this square is guarded by the king. Yeah, rook there. He's attacking my f2 square, the corresponding weakness. I can just oppose the queen. Being a piece up, as long as I keep the pawn under control, it should be an easy win in the endgame. He can grab a pawn, but say queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes on a2, I take on c3. On the check, I can run to h2, and then I just have to round up this pawn over here, and I should be in good shape. Round up the b pawn. So is there anything he can try here? He probably needs to move the queen away if he wants to play on. Then I'm going to take the pawn with check and grab his rook. So so he probably should have, if he wanted to keep queens on, he should have moved to a square where the rook, that protected the rook.
Check.
Like queen to d6. So that was forced. Now I can grab this pawn. These pawns are protected. It's just
Black resigns.
actually, yeah, I didn't even have to put the rook there. I could have just taken it. Okay, yeah, I think I would have gone on to win. So I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.